السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلام الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فيا عباد الله قال الله تعالى في القرآن يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم وما يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All praise is due to Allah. We thank Allah. Adúpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run. A ṣe ẹ̀yìn fánàbí wa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ọpẹ́ wa dáadáa Ọlọ́run kò gbàsá yọ ọpẹ́ fún wa. Àlòkùn orí ọpẹ́ Ọlọ́run kò ní kárí wa. Adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run a ṣe ẹ̀yìn fún tí ó fún wa ní àǹfààní láti tún péjọ síbí lónìí. Láti tún rí dímà ní ìláyé, àríláàyè. Ọlọ́run tó wá kà wá kún àwọn ẹni tí wọ́n máa kí. Kọ́lọ́run kó wá kà wá kún ẹni tí ó kì. ما بين غمضة عين وانتباهاتها يغير الله من حال إلى حال láàrin kájú kálà kò sára tọ́lọ́run ò lè dá àwa dáhùn yìí náà agbára olówó fún wa àrídájú olówó fún wa pé jí màtàfẹ́ kí ìyá rí pé nítorí pé gbogbo ohun tó dá gbogbo ẹ̀dá tọ́lọ́run bá dá láyé àná ó ti fi wálẹ̀ lọ òní àwa la ní àwọn lọ́wọ́ òní tá wá ń sọ yìí present time sí náà ni ohun tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́la ọwọ́ Ọlọ́run bá nìkan ló wà àwọn ò mọ̀ àlágbára lórí ẹ̀ àníkàfẹ́ ẹ̀ àwa bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá fún wa ní tòní kí má ṣe láti wọn fún wa kàtí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀ láàyè adúpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run ọba àlékè ọlá gẹ́gẹ́ bá ṣe máa ń ra wa létí ní ọ̀sẹ̀ pé yá ayọ́ àti ìdílé àmọ́nù ẹ̀yin olùgbàgbọ́ òdodo ittaqullaha ẹ̀páyọ̀ Ọlọ́run wa qulu qawlan sadida èyí tó dá nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀kẹ́jẹ́ gbogbo jáde lẹ́nu yín yuslih lakum a'malakum ìmá sọ̀rọ̀ rí àwọn tó ṣe ọwọ́ yìí ṣe yaghfir lakum dhunubakum Ọlọ́run adé máa tààrẹ láti máa ṣàforíjì fún yín nítorí pé wa man yuti'illaha wa rasulahu gbogbo ẹni tí ó bá ti tẹ̀lé tọ́lọ́run bá àti tòjíṣẹ́ qad faza fawzan 'azima ọ̀kẹ́ àìmọ̀ irú wọn náà ní bẹ nínú ẹni tó jèrè wọn jèrè tó tóbi níwájú Ọlọ́run ọba dẹ̀ pa wá láṣẹ ìgbàgbẹ́wò òun tó ń dá wa láti inú ẹ̀mí kan kápáyọ̀ òun nítorí wípé ìpadà sí wa ọ̀dọ̀ òun ni. Jímọ̀ wa Khutbah wa lónìí lé àwa náà yà rọ̀ tí àwọn ustaz wa tí wọ́n ti ń bábọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ láti lè fi kí wọn lẹ́yìn kí ṣèkínlẹ́yìn fún wọn lórí ọ̀rọ̀ wọn tí wọ́n ń sọ. Ọlọ́run ọba àdéhùn ọlá ó sọ fún wa ní Al-Qur'an nínú ìwé tó máa wípé wa man lam yahkum bima anzalallah fa ulaika humuz zalimun. Ó tún wá sọ nígbò mí pé wa man lam yahkum bima anzalallah fa ulaika humul fasiqun. Ọlọ́run ọba àdéhùn ọlá ó ní man lam yahkum ẹni tí ò bá máa ṣèdájọ́ bima anzalallah pẹ̀lú tọ́lọ́run ọba àlékí ọlá sọ̀kalẹ̀ fáwọlá ìka wọn mọ̀ zalimun ọ̀kẹ́ àyímá ewu wọn alábòsí ni wọn ó wá ní wọ́n máa lam yahkum ayé àtúntẹ̀ sí ẹ̀ náà ni ní Suratul Ma'idah wọ́n máa lam yahkum bima anzalallah ẹni tí ò bá máa ṣèdájọ́ nínú tọ́lọ́run ọba sọ̀kalẹ̀ fáwọlá ìka wọn mọ̀ fasiqun ọ̀kẹ́ àyímá ewu wọn pò kí ìlà pè wọn Allah. Ọlọ́run ọba ó sọ Al-Qur'ani kalẹ̀ fún wa Al-Qur'ani tó wá sọ kalẹ̀ fún wa àwọn ìdájọ́ pọ̀ ńbẹ̀ mélòó nínú àwọn ìdájọ́ Al-Qur'ani là ń lò la fi ń fètò ìgbésí ayé wa mélòó nínú ẹ̀ ṣó ti ẹ̀yẹ wa àwa ká ń sọ yìí náà mélòó ló yé wa ńbẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ àdá lẹ́yìn lójú òótọ́ wàláhì lẹ́yìn lójú òótọ́ àwọn àtàwọn sọ̀rọ̀ yìí gan mélòó ló yé wa ńbẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ọba sì ní ohun tó ń sọ̀kalẹ̀ nínú ìdájọ́ náà ní ká máa ṣèdájọ́ láàrin ara wa. Ọlọ́run wa lọ fọ́dà ó ní afa hukmal jahiliyyati yabghun wa man ahsana minallahi hukman liqawmin yuqinun. Ọlọ́run ọba ní afa hukmal jahiliyyati yabghun. Ṣé ìdájọ́ àsìkò pòkì ìdájọ́ gbàjọ́rọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba ò tí ì dé náà ni wọ́n sì fẹ́ máa fi ṣèdájọ́ láàrin ara wọn ní àdúgbò wọ́n máa akthara minallahi hukman ta ló dáa jù láti ṣèdájọ́ tó yàtọ̀ sọ́lọ́run ọba liqawmin yuqinun fáwọn ìjọ tí wọ́n bá nígbàgbọ́ tí wọ́n láàyè dájú nípa Ọlọ́run ọba náà ta ló tún tọ́ láti ṣèdájọ́ fún wọn tó kọjá Ọlọ́run. Níbo la bọ́ yìí lọ ni wípé nínú àwọn òfin Ọlọ́run ọba tí wọ́n kà fún wa láwọn ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì tó kọjá nínú ìlú tá à ń gbé tí ò kí ń ṣe ìlú tí a ti ń practice òfin Islam láàrin àwọn adájọ́ tó wà ńbẹ̀ ó ṣeé ṣe kó takora wọn ó tiẹ̀ wá ṣe kọ́ ó pọ̀ mẹ́ẹ̀ tó takora wọn ni Ọlọ́run bá sì ní ẹni tó bá fi nǹkan mí ìdájọ́ lẹ́yìn tó Ọlọ́run bá sọ̀kalẹ̀ alábòsí ni mélòó ni wọ́n báyìí wà lálábòsí ẹjẹ́ àwọn bí wa ó lẹ́yìn tó bá fi nǹkan mí ìdájọ́ tó yàtọ̀ sí ohun tó wọ́n lọ́wọ́ bá sọ̀kalẹ̀ ẹnìyẹn náà ti di pòkì ṣe pòkì wá ní gbogbo wa ẹjẹ́ àbí wa léèrè ó sì tún sọ tó wá tó máa ń dá ẹ̀ka náà ó léwu ló dáa jù tàlẹ̀ fi dájọ́ tó yàtọ̀ sí ìdájọ́ Ọlọ́run ọba nígbà tó fi wá sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ̀ níbi táwọn tọ́lọ́run ọba náà sì sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ̀ báwo la ṣe là ń bẹ̀. Gbogbo ohun táwa ń sọ yìí ó kọjá tọ́pìkì kan táwọn bá discuss pẹ̀lú wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ti máa ń sọ fún wa Islam is a way of life. It's more than a religion. Ẹ̀sìn wa tá ń sìn gbogbo bá ṣe lè lò pé sí ayé wa wà ní Islam tọ́lọ́mọ bá ọ̀dọ̀ kan bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó kálukú àti jẹ́ ká mọ̀ wípé má fà wá fún àpèrè kìtàbí mi ṣe ẹ̀yìn Ọlọ́mọ bá ló wù gbàgbé nǹkan kan láì sọ sínú Al-Qur'an. Ohun tó yẹ ká jẹ lóúnjẹ Ọlọ́run júwe ẹ̀ fún wa títí fi débi oúnjẹ. Ohun tó yẹ ká wọ̀ láṣọ Ọlọ́run bá júwe ẹ̀ fún wa. Ṣẹ́jú kọ̀ọ̀kan wa náà wá ọ̀nà láti máa wù mọ́ ẹ̀. Ǹjẹ́ gbogbo ohun tá à ń sọ yìí ṣó yí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa? Àbí ọ̀nà ìṣẹ́yìn wa nípa ìsìlámù wa náà ni wípé ká wọ mọ́ṣáláṣí, ká kírun, kí àwẹ̀ Ramadan dé, ká jẹun. Oúnjẹ tá à ń jẹ ní àwẹ̀ gan-an rí ò bí a pé ṣé oúnjẹ yìí ṣé oúnjẹ tó mọ́ ni àbí kò mọ́ àbí ṣé subhanallah. So are we really conscious about the way we practice our religion? That is the big question. And I'm saying this again, this is beyond the topic of the past weeks. It's more than that. So the question now is again, how are we going to engage ourselves in all these topics? Very essential in our lives. Because we don't want to worry. Gbogbo ohun tọ́lọ́wọ́ bá kó fún wa ní dúkìá, ó máa bi wá léèrè pé báwo ni a ṣe manage ẹ̀. Ó ti jẹ́ ká mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ nínú Al-Qur'an. Ó sọ nínú àyà kan ó ní latus'aluna anin na'im. Á bi wọ́n léèrè nípa pé ìdẹ̀kùn tá ṣe fún wọn o, how do you manage it? So ìdẹ̀kùn tọ́lọ́wọ́ bá ṣe fún wa ó kọjá dúkìá tá lè fọwọ́ kàn ọmọ gbogbo tọ́lọ́wọ́ bá jogún fún wa pátá ìdẹ̀kùn ni. How are we going to do that? 30 minutes tá ń lò pẹ̀lú ara wa ń dímà nínú 30 minutes ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ jẹ́mọ̀ pé àwọn àfáà mi ọlọ́lá nìsín wọ́n gba 5 minutes nínú time mi lónìí mi ò dẹ̀ ní dínkù níwájú máa respect time. To gbogbo àlàgbà ti tìrá náà. Now, tó bá ti ẹ̀jẹ̀ wákàtí kan every Friday, is that enough to explain this whole Quran for each one of us? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. We have a lot of work to do. So we have been saying this for a long time. We need to engage in knowing our Lord. Because Ọlọ́run will be wá léèrè. Lè sọ wípé ihun téèyàn ti mọ̀, you cannot unknow it. Àbí mi ò mọ̀ bí mo ṣe lè sọ òyìnbó náà, ó jẹ́ lè sọ pé o mama. What is the point I'm trying to make? gbogbo wa náà ti mọ̀ pé ìmọ̀kíní yẹn ò tí ì sí fún wa tó àṣìlò gbèsè ayé yẹn bó Ọlọ́run ṣe fẹ́ ká lò. Are we trying to seek that knowledge to understand how we should be managing our lives? So, inshallah, maybe with the executive board, why can't we even have a suggestion box where people will say this topic, I want you to discuss it, and then we can have a talk about it. But at the same time, me studying here, everything I said here, you cannot respond, right? So I only deliver. If you have questions about what I said, you cannot ask. So meaning there are topics that we cannot discuss, you cannot enjoy it on this meeting, because this is not the proper, I don't know, to give that type of lecture. So because we cannot have conversation, you cannot ask questions, I cannot answer you. So are we going to continue our religion like that? Like Taki Unani, Ni Unani, so by him, I'm okay, what am I going to do about it now? Okay, because they in this I can tell from beginning, but Kukuma be that you ma to so man pay how you fix it. So seriously, are we going to be very conscious about it? When we call you to discuss this matter, are you going to show up? And we have called you several times in the past, but we did not show up. As Allah said in the Bible, people are quick, here, no doubt. You know, I'm going to if you talk about the person of the you need la colila, Abi wa colilu mahum. I want dear Nani, I want dear Nani. Do we want to be part of those dear, those little number? Or want to be that big number? Champagne? Let's ask one another. The mission Allah gave to us is to try to go strive for that knowledge, the little that we can deliver and deliver to you. That's why we call it mission board, right? And Allah said in the Quran, Kama arsalna fikum rasulan minkum yatlu alaykum ayatina wa yuzakkikum wa yuallimukumul kitaba wal hikma wa yuallimukum ma lam takunu ta'lamun. Allah said, likewise, that's how we send upon you our messengers, and that are derived from you, they are part of you. We send our messenger to you, that is part of you. Muhammad Rasulam minkum yatlu alaykum ayatina. What is executing? Try he's trying to cleanse you. What you is teaching you the book of Allah and the wisdom of Allah. And he's teaching you what you do not know in the past. And that's what we're trying to do. So we can have a fruitful exchange. So you know that you are trying to make effort to learn about your religion. You are trying your best to practice it the way it is. May Allah make it for each one of us. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه الله غفور رحيم. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. In one of the issues that our stars discussed with us last week, for example, we talked about the issue of adoption. We talked about the issue of mira, inheritance. And after the prayer, I had a 1-minute talk because I was very touched with it. And one of the things that I said is, okay, talking about inheritance, the law of this land that we live wants you to give maybe half of what you own to your wife, your spouse, automatically. And every child of you have to have equal parts. But Quran said otherwise. How do we go about it? And Quran was so serious about inheritance to the point that Allah said inheritance, Allah has already made a decree for it. So you don't decide on your wealth yourself. Allah has already made a decision. Allah gives you that chance of 1/3 to do whatever you want with it. But the 2/3, Allah has already told you, your children have this, your mother, your spouse, and all that. How do you want to go to Allah without making a provision for all this? And guess what? Allah said, a kafir cannot inherit from a Muslim. And not other way around. A Muslim also, a woman cannot inherit from a kafir. So if you have a child, or your own parents are not Muslim, nothing in the billions of dollars they may have left does not concern you. And whatever you owe, your children cannot, any child that is not Muslim cannot touch anything out of it. Can you find that one in the court of the United States? Can you? And if you do not provide for any child, that child can take your will to the court and say, court, I'm his biological child. He did not provide for me. Please pull that will aside. That's the law. That's the law. How do we go about it? Those are the conversations we need to have as a community. When you want to bring a child to the United States, that is not your own child. You must adopt that child. And you must go to a full adoption. Full adoption means they will give that child a new birth certificate. A new birth certificate. In fact, things are changing a little bit now. In the past, that child cannot even see their own real birth certificate with their own eyes. Now, some states are allowing that child after 18 to have access to the original birth certificate for many reasons. That child may have some, they want to conduct health screen on his family to know this, to know that. So for many reasons like that, they are allowing the child. Now, two issues arise from what our side told us. Issue number one, full adoption means you're already going astray from what Allah said because you are changing the name of that child. Number two, because that becomes your child,
that child has full force of law to go to the court and say, I can inherit from him because he's my father. And Quran said, if he's not your biological child, he cannot inherit the same way your own children can inherit. We see already. So now we live here, we have to face those rules, those laws. How do we go about it? How do we go about it? These should be things that we should be debating. And like I said, inshallah, with the executive board, we'll put calendar into play, establish a calendar and invite you and see how many people will respond. Because that's your life. Allah will ask you how you manage it. You cannot escape. There is something called trust, according to law. The money you put in trust, sometimes if you are not the trustee yourself, you cannot touch that money. In order to circumvent the issue of will or leaving something that will create a problem, you put it in trust for those children that cannot inherit from you, or you take it away from that child that is not Muslim, you put it in trust so you don't have access to that one anymore because it's no longer your property because it's managed by somebody else. So those are the things we need to engage ourselves in, right? When we live here and we are faced every day with laws that contradict themselves, we have to sit down, scholarly, and think about what is our way forward and try our best. But whatever we cannot do, Allah said in Quran, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ وَاسْمَعُوا وَأَطِيعُوا وَأَنفِقُوا خَيْرًا لِأَنفُسِكُمْ وَمَا يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Allah said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah to your capacity. And listen. That's Quran. Allah says, Wasma'un. Hear, listen. Wa'ati'u, and follow Allah. So this means that intent to try to strive to understand must be there for a Muslim. And that intent to strive to change things the way Allah wants it must be there for Muslims. But when you try to do your best and you hit a wall, Alhamdulillah, Allah will understand you and will know your intentions. But sitting down without doing anything, that will be detrimental to you, and you will answer for it in the eyes of Allah. May Allah forgive each one of us. May Allah guide us to the right path. May Allah be with us, inshallah. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabiyya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala rasulillah wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. Wa ana sabirul khulafa wa sidina Abu Bakar wa Umar wa Uthman wa Ali wa ali tabi'in wa tabi'in lahum bi ihsan ila yawmiddin. Inna Allah ya'murukum bil 'adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'idukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Fadhkurullaha yadhkurukum washkuruhu 'ala ni'amihi yazidkum wa la dhikrullahi akbar wallahu ya'lamu ma tasna'un. Qumu ila salati yarhamukumullah.